street closed before the game started, so it appears he is not available. Bill Covington Jr., Clarence Armstrong, Jenna Renault, our officiating crew tonight here from John Paul Jones Arena. Fans on their feet. We're underway. Cavaliers in the white and Coppin State in the navy. UVA shot a blistering 57% on opening night against Campbell, but only took 42 shots.
Well, the shots were good shots. They were very particular about where they were getting to. And then also, what I liked about UVA in that first game, knocked down the 3-ball, showed that they can do that.
Day-Day Ames, as you mentioned, feeding Isaac McKneely, barely grazes off the iron out of bounds. And it's Eagles basketball.
Well, a good first possession by Coppin State on defense there. They're in that matchup zone. They made UVA take the shot that they want, which is that three-pointer by McKneely.
Starting lineup on the bottom of your screen here for Coppin State. 2 returners and 3 newcomers for head coach Larry Stewart, as he, like many programs across the country, trying to figure out the best combinations in non-conference play. Darius Ward has been their best player so far. He has had some big scoring games so far this season, including a big 19 against Wake Forest on opening night. And the turnaround, Jay, good for Cameron Brown.
And Cameron Brown, he's coming off of a game where he had just shot 1 for 4 from the field.
Starters for the Cavaliers, as we mentioned, Day-Day Ames is in there for Andrew Rohde, who had 5 assists on opening night. Ames, the Kansas State transfer, making himself at home through the whistle.
And I love that bucket by Ames. He's a lefty, so getting downhill to his strong side, able to fight through the contact. He stays low to the ground, gets over, a little crossover to get back to that strong left hand, count the bucket.
That was neat, that little in and out move.
Yeah, you love it, and he's so good with the basketball in his hands. Very crafty, has that thing on a rope.
70% shooter at the free throw line last season with Kansas State. And he gives Ron Sanchez and the Hoos the early 3-2 lead. So Coppin State coming off defeats against Wake Forest on Monday, High Point on Wednesday, and an 11-point loss in their home opener against Rider on Saturday.
I'll tell you what, they only won 2 games last season, and so this non-conference schedule is really out to prepare them for what's to come in the MEAC.
10 newcomers on this team here in 24-25. TJ Power, the Duke transfer, lines it up, misfires, and the rebound for Ward.
Power couldn't knock that one down, but a good shot. Nobody was in sight on the rotation for the defense.
Cameron Sparrow has now started the last couple of games after coming off the bench the first 2. Sparrow, one of those 2 returners, an all-MEAC rookie team selection last season. He was a walk-on. Sparrow, an air ball.
Yep, and he earned himself that scholarship. Not able to knock that one down right there, but a guy who can certainly put the ball on the deck, fill it up, long, athletic, and it's hard sometimes, right? You didn't start, you're coming off the bench, you're learning what this new adjustment and role might look like for you.
All right, Coppin State, you notice them here on defense. We might see a lot of matchup zone tonight from Coach Stewart's team. Here's Saunders in the corner, cashing in.
Well, with the matchup zone, you have to have rotation on the backside. There was a back screen for Elijah Saunders who ran across the baseline, and UVA, such a nice job of just making the extra pass to the shooter in the corner.
That's his first 3 as a Cavalier, had 11 points in his first game with UVA. Wore it to the bucket too strong, and Blake Buchanan corrals the rebound. Aggressive hedge here from Coppin State. Good ball movement from UVA, but stepping out of bounds was Power.
And Power, he just took that foot back before he accelerated forward. But let's take another look here at how Saunders, he got open in the 3-point line, just lined up his feet to the basket, able to knock it down. And he credits himself for his ability to be very versatile out there on the floor as a stretch 4.
Open shooter here for Coppin State. Collie Horton, no. And Power collects. Just over 3 minutes in, UVA has scored the last 6. We spoke with Ron Sanchez before the game. We said, okay, if you're facing a matchup zone, what are the key principles? He said, we're going to run the same offense no matter if it's man, zone, matchup, doesn't matter.
And I mean, as a coach, you like that. You don't let another team dictate what it is that you do. You stick to who your identity is, and then down the floor, fast as Ward, he gets fouled going to the rim.
Coach Sanchez said he really enjoyed just the continuity of the offense on opening night, and nothing was extremely flashy, but they got the shots they wanted, even though they only took 42, but they had the really good shooting percentage.
Everybody got out there and they were getting involved, so I think that's important. And then we see one of the guys who actually was able to get it going, Jacob Cofie. Check it in.
This week's featured men's basketball games on ACC Network and the ESPN app. First, a doubleheader Friday night starting at 6 Eastern. A rivalry down in the Sunshine State. At the Tuck, it's number 20 Florida and Florida State, followed by number 10 North Carolina hosting American. And then Saturday at noon Eastern, freshman phenoms Cooper Flag, Han Knippel, and the number 6 Blue Devils, they take on Wofford. McKneely, who only got 6 shots on opening night. They're hoping that he might be a little bit more aggressive this evening. Shot clock is down to 4 here. Saunders now in the interior scoring.
Just a beautiful bucket by Saunders. Back to the basket. All he needed was 2 power dribbles to create some separation in the lane, and that's what UVA has to do more of. How can we penetrate against this zone? You get a post touch.
Cameron Brown scurrying, feeding underneath for Peter Odoro, too strong. And now the Cavaliers can set it up.
And that's the look that you want from Odoro. He set the screen, rolled hard to the basket, but you have to be controlled on the shot.
Saunders now doubled, feeds up top Ames. Penetration, kick, McKneely off the bounce. And the shortest player on the floor, Cameron Brown's got it. Coppin State has not shot above 35% from the field in each of their first 3 games. So they're hoping for more offensive firepower tonight.
And what I saw from Coppin State in their first couple games of the season is they're getting good looks. They're just not converting. Like, I'm not mad at that pull-up jumper right there by Toby. You just got to be relentless in the pursuit of focusing to knock it down.
And Coach Stewart said, you know, we can't get down on ourselves after a miss, after a turnover. We have to be positive at all times in this game.
Correct.
McKneely, extra pass in the corner. Cofie on the handoff for Saunders, disrupted. It'll stay with UVA when we return.
And already starting out this game, though, it's Elijah Saunders, who is doing his thing. Back down in the post. You can't guard the stretch 4. Up and above. UVA leads 8-3. We're going to have one on the way with Jalen Warley, but he decided to re-enter his name into that portal. So a lot of new faces.
Only 4 returning players from the rotation last season. And again, no Andrew Rohde tonight. He is not available for Coach Sanchez's team, so Day-Day Ames got the nod as the starting point guard. Ishan Sharma, the true freshman, is now in number 9 in white. Coppin State just one of its first 7 from the field. Darius Ward is an isolation player, and he tries to score over a 6'11" guy in Buchanan, and that did not work.
He might have got away with one, too, a little bit of a travel there. But, again, that's just a forced shot, highly contested.
Ward had the 19 in the opener against Wake Forest, and then in the last game against Rider, had a massive game with 18 points, tied for the team lead, 7 for 17 from the field. A Coppin State team that has suffered 13 consecutive losing seasons under Coach Stewart, now in his 2nd year. Only 2 wins a year ago, but they went into the transfer portal, got a lot of fresh bodies. Shot clock is down to 5. Cameron Brown is one of them, coming from Allegheny College of Maryland, and wow, what a score.
Yeah, what a move. And what I loved about that possession by Coppin is the patience. They ran through their set. I think that's one of the best sets that they've had of this season thus far, where everybody got touches, and then at the end of the shot clock, Brown just broke down his defender, was able to blow by him for the score.
He's got 4 of the 5 for Coppin State. You don't want to leave this guy open. That's why.
Nope. UVA starting to shoot a lot of threes in this game. They averaged 6.7 threes per game a season ago. They already have reached that at 6 due to that zone that Coppin State is playing.
Big shot block from Cofie. Getting it back, Horton to the basket. Buchanan, a lot of body there. And a couple of shots here for Coppin State.
And another look here at the three by McKneely. Nobody in sight, just overhead. His feet were set, able to get up and stroke it, and that's one of his best attributes of his game, is being able to knock down shots, especially off the kickoff, where he doesn't have to worry about creating for himself.
Well, and if you're going to play a matchup zone, you really have to communicate, because you have to locate number 11 in white.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what Coppin State, they're going to be talking about too, identifying where are the shooters, but especially that shooter in particular at McKneely.
42% three-point shooter in his career, 81 threes a season ago. That was inside the top 8 in the ACC. And I was speaking with him in pregame, and he does a lot of rituals to get himself ready to go. He makes over 100 threes in pregame warm-ups.
Listen, he's on that Steph Curry type of time. Got to get it going.
It doesn't take him that long to do it, though, too.
I mean, it's incredible, but it also speaks to the type of player that he is. Incredible work ethic.
McKneely expected to be on the ball a lot more this season with some of those point guard departures from last season. Tane Murray checking in and fouled immediately.
Well, you talk about him being on the ball more this year, but also what he spoke about a lot is the leadership role that he has to take on with this group as well. So has to take on the scoring duties, but as well as be that vocal leader out there on the court.
And when Tony Bennett elected to retire after 15 seasons as the UVA head coach, Isaac led a couple of player-only meetings with his teammates, just making sure that everybody was on the same page.
I mean, it says a lot when there's change and it's happening fast and you're one of the constants here. You have to be that person.
The two true freshmen out there now for UVA, and Cofie and Sharma. And Jenna Renault has stopped the play here.
Seems like the shot clock wasn't running or something of sorts.
All right, so we'll put it at 14 seconds here. Matchup zone continuing for Coppin State. Timer is down to 7. McKneely, quick pass. Cofie back to McKneely. Murray penetrating, bobbles the ball. Turnover. Here is Toby Nadozie gliding to the rim, can't score, and Cofie collects for UVA, but Coppin State regains with Nadozie. Good hustle.
What an effort by Coppin State on that possession to really force the shot clock to go dark and then come up with that steal. Wish he could have converted on the layup there, but nonetheless, they keep it going.
Brown using the body, or check that. That is Zari Harrison, the redshirt senior from Philly.
And Zari Harrison, he just played for the first time against Ryder, where he got a little bit of 8 minutes of action in his first appearance of the season. Didn't even score a field goal.
Yeah, Coach Stewart's team is a bit shorthanded tonight. They do not have Ryan Archie, their top returner in scoring from last season at 9.5 points per game, but in the first 8+ minutes of this one, the Eagles have been hanging in. Coppin State getting the bucket here from Harrison to the rim. Coppin State hoping to turn around this program.
Well, Coach could flat out do it as a player, so I think that he'll be able to do it as a coach. He's just one of 2 players in that program who played in the NBA 5 seasons across different teams, and so he's been coaching these guys hard, and he has high expectations for them. Yeah, Joe Pace, the other Eagle that played in the National Basketball Association, and you saw the note there with Coach Stewart becoming the first undrafted rookie to be on the All-NBA rookie team, which is very impressive in itself. Certainly. Day-Day Ames back in, started at point guard tonight on the fade. Out of the ball screens, watch out. Ames stays low to the ground. He uses his shoulders to elevate up, created a little bit of separation, and able to knock that one in. Ames has 5 of the 13 for UVA. Coppin State with a travel here. That's Nadozie. But the Eagles, you got to give them credit here, Ty. They've gotten off to some rough starts to begin this season, but they have been better tonight. They have, and what I've seen from them tonight that has looked so much better is execution, staying together. It seemed as though since they saw a few going early, they had a newfound sense of togetherness and self. Like, we can do this. And that's so important with a roster that continues to change in the transfer portal era.
trying to compete in the MEAC here in 24-25.
I mean, again, 9 transfers on the roster, 10 total new players. That's not easy to deal with, and they're looking confident out there. And they played another ACC opponent in Wake Forest, and they were able to outscore them in the second half, 27-22.
On the shovel, it's Sharma. And Coppin State advances. And they only lost by 15 points to Wake Forest. The issue, though, the next game they lost by 42 to High Point. So
yeah, that comes with the ebbs and flows of trying to figure things out. Coach Sport, he plays a lot of bodies over there too. So just figuring out different lineups and again that camaraderie, togetherness, learning it.
Power from the perimeter.
Well, that's a sweet stroke by Power, and again, playing into the hands of what the defense wants you to do. If you're going to leave me open, I'm going to prove that I can knock down that three-point shot.
Well, the Cavaliers have all this size with Saunders and Power and Buchanan, but all 3 of those guys have the ability to extend their range beyond 15 feet.
Yep. Definitely a strength of theirs, as we see going to the basket. That time around is Jonathan Dunn able to hit the reverse layup, getting into that pack line defense.
Dunn, one of many guys who has been a part of several different colleges. Missouri State to begin his career, then Austin Peay, and now here at Coppin State.
They have what I like to call some journeymen on their roster. As Power, he gets up another one.
Harrison. And nice defense there from Day-Day Ames.
He stayed solid, chest up, didn't break that plane of verticality. On the other end of the floor, though, Saunders, he can take the hit, got wrapped up, going to the basket on the attack. And going back to it, look at the defense again, just walled up by Ames and then able to save it while falling out of bounds, just showing off his athleticism with that one, getting it to his teammate Power. And that's another way that UVA, a lot of people say, well, you know, they play slow basketball. And when you get plays like that where you're able to steal and go, good things happen, like Saunders getting into the free throw line.
Former top 60 recruit going into Kansas State last season. Here's this week's featured women's basketball game on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Kyra Wood leads Syracuse against number 11 Maryland at the JMA Wireless Dome. Coverage begins Wednesday night at 7 Eastern. The Orange were stunned by St. Joe's yesterday in the Dome by 14. Under third-year head coach Felicia Legette-Jack, the former Orange legend herself. Cavaliers by 8 here with just over 8 to go in the first half. Cofie returns for UVA after his sparkling performance on opening night against the Camels.
And he's going to be a bright spot, I think, for years to come in this UVA program after we saw what he was able to do against Campbell. It almost seemed so effortlessly for him.
7 for 8. He's the reigning Gatorade Player of the Year out of Washington, and he seemed to fit in very well on opening night. No nerves. He's a confident guy.
You got to love it.
Timer down to 8. Off the stutter. Ward, no.
Now, when you're in a game like this and you're down by 8, those are the types of shots that you can't have because those are deflating shots, highly contested. You have Saunders all in your face. Got to get a better look than that. But nonetheless, UVA still up by 8, 18-10. We'll be right back. college basketball season start here in Charlottesville has been the newcomers, and one of the newcomers who was inserted into the starting lineup tonight is Day-Day Ames. He's having himself a game thus far. 2 for 3 from the field, 5 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound. Can we say stuff in the stat sheet? And a good defensive possession right there by Ames. And you gotta love what you see out of the feisty guard who transferred in from Kansas State this year to play for the Hoos. And he came to UVA because of the winning culture, and he wanted to contribute to a winning program. And what I've seen so far out of him, a winner.
Well, he's a winner, and we also know that the dude has immense talent. He scored 65 points in a game in high school. I think the question that a lot of Cavaliers fans would have, how can he play his style of basketball while also fitting into the UVA system?
I think that comes along with having one coach on your back. I think Ron Sanchez, he likes both of his guards. Rhodey, he's not suiting up tonight. Ames, he gets that opportunity to show how exactly he can do that. And within himself, and he's been distributing the rock, he's been taking it off the bounce, and I think giving a little bit of his own flair with his confidence, and then also showing that, hey, I can run this ship too with kicking the basketball around as well.
And that's something that Kihei Clark did so well for so many years with this UVA team.
It's a balance.
Power has been very aggressive, hunting his own shot early here. He's got 4 shots. He's made 1 from downtown. Ames, Power, open, a tray, rims out.
I mean, that's the look that you want, though. Ames, he got a touch in the paint, able to find his shooter yet again, and just out of control coming down the floor is Coppin State, but able to recover. And then, boom, just like that, a very arid pass. Coach is not happy. He's saying, why?
Get me a new guard out there, please.
I mean, you got to slow down, though. There's no reason to try to force a cross-court pass in that situation after you already fumbled the basketball coming down the floor to begin with. That's the time where you need somebody to step up and say, hey, give me the ball, let's slow down, get into our sets, in which we've been running well so far.
Just 2 turnovers so far. Coppin State has decreased its turnover total in each of their first few games. McKneely on the miss. Saunders, ooh, that's pretty.
Just the rebound, put back again. So much power for him to go up. 1 dribble, hit that hook shot.
20-12, UVA, 6 minutes to go in the first half. Nadozie is that new guard out there for Coach Stewart, and Ames is hounding him. They can't get into their offense until it's at 10.
I've really enjoyed the way that Ames has been playing defense for that pack line. Everybody else, they stay inside, and then him, woo!
Isaac McKneely's not used to taking shots that low.
Hey, that's okay. Sometimes the rim catches you, but I'm more impressed by the little shake and bake by Ames, able to find the cutter. And we know he's a 3-point shooter. We'll give him grace on the missed layup.
And that will go down for Day-Day as an assist attempt. That's something we talked about with Ron Sanchez before the game.
Yep.
You don't necessarily get the assist on the actual stat sheet because, well, your teammate didn't make the shot.
Right.
But you made the right play.
I mean, and just looking over to the bench, though, Coach Sanchez, he was clapping at the fact that, boom, you created what you wanted. Off-ball action because McKneely did his job by making that hard cut in that dive. Again, just caught up underneath there. So, of course, you want the 2 points there, but more so just happy with how Ames was able to break down the defense and create.
It's about building habits at this juncture of the season.
Absolutely.
Ames really crammed up in the paint. Shot clock draining down. McKneely needing to create on the feed. Cofie too strong.
Coppin State has really made UVA work for a lot of their shots in the half court.
Open player underneath. It's done on the rim rattler.
That can't happen. 2 were doubling the ball, but somebody has to rotate on the backside, and Coppin State able to find some easy ones just off of miscommunications and breakdowns of UVA's defense.
There is a stoic look right now on the Coppin State bench. Like, all right, we're in this right now.
Like, guys, we got a chance. And I like it. Moving on the fly to the ball. Their defense is doing better. Again, the shot clock is running dark here.
Ames from the corner. Kerplunk.
I'm liking what we're seeing out of the lefty. He shot over 40% from beyond the arc last season. He typically takes those shots from the left side of the floor, but the growth of being comfortable to recognize that the shot clock was running low. I got to shoot this one right now.
He has taken this opportunity quite well tonight. Again, no Andrew Rohde. He's on the bench, but not available this evening. Just a ton of poise. Dunn loses the ball out of bounds. Cavaliers basketball when we return. Night between Campbell and Virginia. Number 2, I agree with Coach McGeehan in this sense. Coach Sanchez said in his first media availability as the interim head coach, you know, look, things won't change all that much, and I would be foolish to reinvent something that's been so good for so long.
Well, you think about Sanchez, this isn't his first rodeo with the program, right? He's the interim head coach. However, 11th season with UVA as a whole. He won 2 ACC titles on staff with them, so he understands what their culture is, the identity of it, and he's just making small tweaks to the areas that he has to put his own swag on as the new head coach. However, he is one of Coach Tony Bennett's guys and helps him, you know, upcoming with his career. So I think that's the most important part.
Oh, McKneely starting to get hot.
And back-to-back triples, and we were talking about how, you know, this game seemingly was close, right, at 20-14. Next thing you know, a 3 is knocked down, then another one, and another one, and that's where you see things can get out of hand. Now is where we have to see how does Coppin State respond, and it's just like that, a cut to the basket and a layup.
And a timeout from Coach Stewart. So Virginia opens up the lead to 13 with over 2 to play here in the first half. Seed squaring off with the reigning national champs, the Clemson Tigers. All matches right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app, the home of ACC champions. Big stretch in this game. Coppin State down by 13. Eagles played a really good first 10 minutes, but they're down by 13 now.
Well, right now what I'm seeing from the Eagles is, one, I think they're having good effort on the defensive end of the floor, except for right there when you're letting guys like Ames get into the paint, but they're able to sprouse that one up. But they're 0 for 7 from beyond the arc. However, they are outscoring UVA in the paint 14-6.
Coppin State here on the reload. Down low, the hesitation, and Dunn couldn't finish. Cofie on the clear. Ames across the timeline.
Well, they went to their bread and butter, though. They got it back to the guy who just made a layup, which was Dunn. And then again, McKneely, is he human right now?
We told you earlier he makes over 100 threes in warm-ups. That's why. So he's comfortable in the game.
4th triple by McKneely, and at this point, the three-pointer is a layup for him. The weight of that thing is just flying through the net.
His career high in three-pointers made in a game is 5. He's done that 5 times. So we are on career watch night tonight for Mr. Isaac McKneely, the man they call IMAC here in Charlottesville.
And it makes you think, does Coppin State as a team now want to switch up their look? And I think that's something that they can do. Are they going to stay in that zone knowing that UVA has gotten hot? 7 for 16 from downtown, shooting 43%. And particularly McKneely's taking the load of that with his 4 made triples. Or do you go man a little bit to test it out, see how it goes?
Well, Ty, we pay you the big bucks to answer those questions. So what do you got for us? Yes or no?
I think they're going to stick to that zone, but I think it starts with the communication process here of trying to identify where the shooters are on the floor a little bit more, and that's going to be McKneely in particular.
Under a minute to play here in the first half. The lead has grown to 16 quickly for UVA. Brown dribbling it off his sneaker, out of bounds.
5th turnover of the game by Coppin State, and Brown just got caught in the coffin corner down there, couldn't create anything, and now have to spend their time on defense again. And that's what happens when you turn the basketball over. You try to exert the effort in the right ways on the offensive end of the floor, but in turn you have to spend more time on defense when you're not able to create and score.
And here on the defensive end, they continue in this matchup zone. They find McKneely this time. Now it's Saunders on the back down, on the ISO, on the fade. A lot of air. And the shot clock goes dark here. One last possession here for Coppin State in the first half. Brown and Ames. And a foul. And UVA did have fouls to give, so that's not a problem for Coach Sanchez's team.
Not at all. In Coppin State, they were doing everything to try to get that high ball screen so Brown could split the defense like he's been doing so far in this game to attack and get to the basket. And you can imagine Ward, he just checked into the game. That's their leading scorer. Always have to watch. Well, he's not taking the ball out anymore, but got to watch out for number 11, who I think is going to try to score it here if possible.
He's only got 1 point today. Ward needs to go at 3. Lost the ball momentarily, and then he stuffed inside. An all-around performance in the first half for Isaac McKneely.
That's the way you double
in the white, Coppin State in the navy. Cavaliers win tonight. They have their Virginia, the strong finish, 12-2 run. Cameron Brown, he's got some shimmy to him, and he's blocked away. Ames with a paste on the backboard.
I mean, man, his defense has been impeccable, not letting Brown get totally in front of him, but it's the recovery that you have to compliment Ames on with that one.
McKneely floating to the rim. Buchanan flushes it down.
And that's the second part of McKneely's game, right? They take away the three-point shot, no problem. I can put the ball on the deck and find my big man down low.
Let's chart that one as an assist attempt and an actual assist.
I mean, when you got a big guy like Buchanan on the backside, you got to always have your eyes up when you get the Red seized apart like that.
Buchanan had a fantastic game on night 1 on Wednesday at 10 points, 5 rebounds, career high 5 assists, tied his career high with 3 blocks. As you said, stuffing the stat sheet.
I mean, and when you think about it, he could have had more points than that as Gordon gets on the ball, get on the board right there. Buchanan, the next phase of his game, right, is getting to the bucket and looking for the finish on those attacks. Not the best free throw shooter quite yet.
Oh my goodness, McKneely from way outside, and the contact from Brown, who is disgusted with the call from Jenna Renaud.
If you would have made that one, you would have been on your own. I was going to throw down the headsets and go home.
Oh, that was it for you?
That would have been it for me.
Was I getting the rest of your pay then tonight?
Maybe get a little piece of it. And again, just that beautiful play going to the basket for McKneely, finding Buchanan. No defender rotated to get on the top side of him.
You know, here's a guy in Isaac McKneely who was a contributor his first season, more in the limelight last year, but he's completely fixated in the limelight this season. How does his game take another step?
I think his game takes another step by doing more of what we saw on that last play. What do I do as a shooter when my shot is taken away? That's hitting the mid-range jumper a little bit more. That's sweeping through, getting to my spots and showing that I can be a 3-level scorer consistently, that is.
Lead up to 17 for the Hoos. Virginia facing Coppin State for just the 4th time. Cavaliers have won the first 3. Last meeting was in 2021. Here's a tray. Coppin State with 2 early here in the second half. And it is from Darius Ward. They need him to get going.
Yeah, I mean, he's the leading scorer for this squad. He has great athleticism, makes good decisions with the basketball in his hands when it comes to scoring. And that time saw a little bit of day of light, able to knock down the tray.
You talk about taking advantage of the transfer portal. This is his 5th different school.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you call a journeyman award right there. And Buchanan going to the basket, can't get the first one to go. But he's all of 6'10", able to stick with his shot and get the putback.
Coach Sanchez told us before the game that they want Blake on the ball a whole bunch this year, and he needs to get more comfortable with that because he has not touched the ball this much in his career. That goes back to his high school days as there's a finish inside from Adoro.
I think the one thing in order for him to get that ball in his hands, right, is coach has the confidence in him. And so when your coach has the confidence in you, the next thing all you have to do is go out there and ball. And you see he's going after those rebounds, and he's posting up even harder this year from last year. And he put on some weight, has more strength from his freshman to his sophomore year. So excited to see what's to come for him.
Odoro. Rebound Cofie for UVA. Day Ames, oh, nifty move. He's got that ball on a string, but he couldn't get the two. Now Coppin State in transition. Brown on the shovel back. The three is up from Horton. Too strong. Ames, and now we go the other way. This is something that, well, I guess UVA fans are used to this. Ames slowing it down.
Now, honestly, I thought he was about to do something uncharacteristic and take it, but he saw, like, let me run this offense. But nothing came out of it, a turnover, so you almost wish he would have turned on to Jepson and kept it for himself. He has a great first step.
Cavaliers now with 5 giveaways. Coppin State also with 5. So Coach Stewart's team has played a relatively clean game, but only shooting 31% so far. On the kick, Brown on the handoff. Horton probing and looking, and they can't get off a shot. It's at 3, hoisting it up from the far wing. Sparrow, Here's UVA with the basketball.
Sparrow, he's struggling to find a groove out there. When the shot clock is running low like that, you still have the opportunity to take your time. That one just kind of threw it up.
Ames scanning, waiting, lobbing down low. Cofie, he's got more strength than a usual freshman, and he's heading to the line when we come back. It's Virginia on top of Coppin State by 14 early in the second half. Jacob Cofie, he is fresh off his 16-point performance in his first game of college. 7 for 8 from the field against Campbell, the most by a Cav in his debut in 3 seasons. Reigning Washington Gatorade Player of the Year, top 60 recruit in the class of 2024. He's got so much confidence. He knew going into game 1 that he would have that feel, that touch that he showed on opening night. And he's had a lot of great influences throughout his life. In fact, he has the same trainer in the Seattle area as Paolo Banchero.
I mean, that says a lot of what we've seen out of him, right? Strength, power, versatility, can shoot the 3, knock it down. So you love to hear that story about him. And again, we shined the light on him in the beginning of the game, and we'll do it now. He's going to be a bright spot in this program, not scoring like he did in that first game, but the effort. 7 rebounds and connected on both of those free throws.
He was a state champion at Eastside Catholic High School. First state championship in that high school's history, and they had Matisse Feibel on that team, too, a couple years ago. 1 second on the shot clock. Sidestep, triple, air ball, shot clock violation. Wait, hold on. Do we have a foul here? We do. And you can tell how that man feels about it.
Yeah, he's not liking that one. Day, he lunges at him, out of control. He gets him. That was an out of control closeout by Day Ames, and not doing that. He got what? A block under his belt in this game, and all of a sudden wants to be a shot blocker out there.
Come on, you as a guard would understand that, right?
Oh, listen, I understand it. It was effort, though. He didn't mean to foul him, of course, but he knows what he has to do, have better body control on the closeout next time.
This week's featured men's basketball games on ACC Network and the ESPN app. It's a doubleheader on Friday night starting at 6, a rivalry down in the Sunshine State. Number 20 Florida and Florida State, followed up with number 10 North Carolina hosting American University in Chapel Hill. And Saturday at noon Eastern, the freshman phenoms Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, and the entire crew with the Duke Blue Devils, number 6 team in the country, taking on the Wofford Terriers. 40-13, UVA over Coppin State. Cavaliers all-time against the current MEAC, 22-0. Elijah Saunders very easily finishes inside.
Well, that's a lesson on how you break the zone. Get the ball to the middle of the floor, dump down pass to your stretch 4, and Saunders, easy layup.
Saunders now in double figures for the 2nd consecutive game as a Who with 11. Late shot clock situation again for Coppin State. Dunn floating it up. TJ Power wrestling away the board.
Ooh.
Power lunging to make the catch. And let's slow it down here, says Day Ames.
A wise decision. They were looking a little discombobulated.
This is very wise, although McKneely doesn't get the 3.
Not mad at it, though, and it seems as though the pace of this game has slowed down on both ends in this second half so far.
And that plays in UVA's favor. Coach Stewart told us that he wanted to play faster tonight.
Yeah, he always wants his team to play fast. Like, that's what their DNA is going to be. But UVA, with their discipline and their length, they're able to come back off of missed or makes and get into their defense.
He said, yeah, we want to play fast, but we are shorthanded tonight. No Ryan Archie, their leading returner in scoring last season at over 9 points per game. Cam Liggins, Julius Ellerby III. That's a big miss for this Coppin State team. Darius Leonard, Arion Munir-Jones. They only have 10 available bodies tonight. Shot clock at 3, and that is picture-perfect defense from UVA, making it ugly for Coppin State. Saunders to the rack and fouled.
You better watch out when Saunders is coming through.
That's a train.
I mean, I'm telling you, built like a football player almost, with those shoulders and the aggression in his body. Just so versatile, again, and the defense by UVA just making them throw up a shot that's not good at all. And McKneely pushing the pace, finding Saunders running the floor. And that is one of the faster up and downs that we've seen from UVA on that possession. Yeah,
and I go back to a comment that I heard from Coach Sanchez during one of his preseason practices. Look, this Cavaliers team is never going to be known as a fast break team. But he said, look, we force a turnover. Guys, go. If you see the basket and it's open, it's time to go.
And I think they understand that all too well, especially with the type of players that they have on their squad, who can really stretch out, use their length to get to the basket, and then get to the free throw line, where they found a lot of success so far in this game. Just 9 for 10. Or not just 9 for 10, but 9 for 10, which is excellent.
Saunders ripping away the rebound. So he comes at you like a train, and then he jumps in the air like he's a gymnast. Corner 3, Ishan Sharma with the miss and a loose ball foul, and Cofie doesn't like it.
I mean, I didn't really see much there, going for the rebound.
Sometimes that happens as a freshman, right? You look on, you're so just dubious, like, that doesn't make sense.
To me, I understand you on that one, Cofie. It wasn't much there.
Jonathan Dunn on the step back over Cofie, and Jacob got a piece of it.
I don't like it. I don't like that by Coppin State. They're getting away from themselves. They were good in the beginning of the game because they ran their sets. A lot of people got touches in that time, just trying to take it a one-on-one. Not a good possession.
McKneely on the blow-by, takes it, leaves it short. Zari Harrison in transition, spinning, handing off, and there's the big palm of Cofie. Sharma lobbing it ahead, catch from Saunders, and off the glass he scores.
And just dominating when it comes to getting points and running off of those turnovers. Just 7 turnovers by Coppin State, which is good for them by definition, because they come into this game averaging 16. But man, those live ball turnovers really hurt.
Hey, Ty, I'm just saying here, 6-0 in fast break points in favor of UVA.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And it comes off of the miscues, the turnovers, getting out, running.
Here they go again. Sharma electing to slow it down. Locates an open Saunders. So I don't know if that would have gone down as a couple of fast break points if Saunders made that, but that's an increase in pace that Coach Sanchez was talking about right there.
It's advancement of the basketball off of the misses or the turnovers that you got to love about this UVA squad in their first 2 games of the season, just having their eyes up and looking to get the easy basket.
Shot clock at 5. Another steal. Cofie, man, this guy has been so disruptive in the second half. Steals, blocks, you name it, he's doing it.
He's very active. He's 6'10". I mean, you got to be conscious when you're around him on the defensive end of the floor.
Quick ball movement. TJ Power uncorking, rims out, offensive rebound. Cofie can't stick it back in, but earns the whistle.
He plays hard, but so does this guy right here. Saunders over the top, able to catch it. And UVA is rolling. 6-0 run for the Hoops.
Saunders, the transfer from San Diego State. He's got 15 points tonight.
And he's one off of his career high, which is 16 points that he did against Washington when he was at San Diego State. But he makes you ask the question, what can he do? He recognizes mismatch opportunities, gets down the floor. He runs so hard, and he's been able to mesh into this program just so far so well with his versatile skill set.
All right, Ty, you're from this area of the country. You know UVA basketball. You know how special DeAndre Hunter was in a Cavaliers uniform. Every wing that has arrived at UVA since has been compared to DeAndre.
Yep.
Is that fair with Elijah Saunders?
I would definitely say that's fair. And it said on his visit, that's who they showed him film of saying, this is who you can be here with our program. And I think thus far with his game, his poise, his versatility, and I would say his matureness as well, he's shown that.
I think he'll also like DeAndre Hunter's piggy bank too. I think he'd love that. 21-point lead for the Cavaliers over Coppin State in their second game this season. Day-Day Ames has decided that the jersey will not be tucked in the rest of the night.
I don't even think he recognizes that it's untucked.
He can make those decisions with the performance he's having this evening. Board Buchanan, back to Ames on the pump fake. The runner is good.
And the lefty just making things happen. He could have opted for the three-point shot, but knows that when he gets his feet set and into the lane, that teardrop is nothing but money.
What's changed with UVA since the first 10 minutes of this game?
What has changed with them? I'd say that's a good question. They're not settling for threes, and I'd say when the game had first started, because Coppin State was in that zone, they were trying to get a feel for the three-point shot, so I think they took a lot earlier on. But now they've been in attack mode a lot more, where Ames is able to get into the lane. We've seen McKneely, when the Coppin State defenders are having bad closeouts, putting the basketball on the deck and driving by and finding opportunities to find their big man down low and ultimately just get a foot in the paint to score.
A second to go on the shot clock. It seems like it's been that way all second half long for Coppin State. There's another big difference. UVA sinking in on the defensive end. And it was interesting because Coach Stewart in his shoot around this morning was really pointing out those jump stops, those floaters, getting a foot into the paint. It's so important. Jacob Cofie, a marksman from the outside.
Well, when you're going up against a bigger team, Coppin State, they're outmatched with the size. You have to be disciplined when you get into the lane to jump stop. You can't just go in there like that. That time able to draw the foul, but going in with the right hand on the left hand side. Those things can often be nuisances when you're going up against a big team with the length and size of UVA. And then coming back to this big three by Cofie, just feet set. It took nothing for him to step into that shot and hit it.
I've been really impressed with the amount of set shots that UVA's had in the second half.
Yeah, and it's just come off of that ball sticking, the movement, and the defense is not rotating fast enough to catch up, and they're catching Coppin State off guard due to the ball movement.
Well, it might not be the fastest offense you've ever seen.
It's efficient, though.
But it's efficient, right. And I was just going to say, you could pull up Ken Pom, and you'd see after one game that UVA is last in the country in pace. But, okay, they only took 42 shots in game one. They made 24 of them. Like, come on. Again, tonight they're shooting over 40% from the field. They've made 8 threes, and they're up by 24 points.
Well, they're going to take probably nearly double that as the game ends. They're up to 42 shots right now. And I think with games like this, it's also working through your offense, working out the kinks. So they're in their half-court set, getting a lot of passes and trying to get the best options. So not a lot of one and done for them because they're kicking the ball. They're finding cutters like we see right there. I think stepping out of bounds, or they're going to call a travel on Murray. But nonetheless, UVA, they're not afraid as a team to share the basketball, which is a great problem to have.
And the other thing that Coach Sanchez told us in our pregame meeting, and this was a really fascinating way to put it, we guard so hard for 30 seconds. So why would we go to the opposite side of the court and shoot in the first 7 seconds? It just doesn't make fundamental sense. They get the steal here, so they defend hard. All right, let's look up. What do we have here? Ames knifing into the paint, shovels it back. McKneely off the fake, and now the reset. Okay, you tried in transition, and let's reset it back up.
I mean, one of the most disciplined offenses in the country that you'll see out of this group. And traditionally, that's how it is, and that's how they wear teams down. They're going to get at you on the defensive end of the floor, make it very tough for you to score. And then on offense, they're going to come down and run their sets and try to get the best shot possible. There's not a whole lot of breakdowns within the UVA offenses traditionally where you're going to see people go one-on-one and one and done and all that stuff.
Tane Murray left alone, can't bury it. Offensive rebound. Oh, it goes right back in. Jacob Cofie, he must have springs in those sneaks.
I mean, he does. Jump man, you better get up for that offensive rebound. He's having himself a second half where he's come alive. 9 rebounds, really relentless on the boards.
He spent a lot of time in the dojo in Seattle with that trainer, Mike Knight, who worked out Paolo Banchero as well.
I mean, and showing in his game.
Those box jumps, they helped.
Oh. Yeah, he has springs. He looked like, what was those things that you jump on as a kid? A pogo stick?
Yeah.
Boing.
Yeah.
That's what that play give on the last one. Here goes the pogo stick. Cofie with the putback. UVA continue to dominate here in the second half.
Ty, I don't know about you, but I feel like Jacob Cofie can really be the key ingredient to how successful UVA is this season.
If I had to use the words to describe him so far, from what I've seen with my own 2 eyes, he's a glue guy type of player. Doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. He's going to do the little things, whether that's scoring the basketball. He has 3 blocks and 3 steals to go along with his 9 points in the performance that he's had, and then gets the rebound right there. So he's an effort guy.
And you don't often say that he is a man amongst boys when you're referring to a freshman.
Yeah.
But you can say that about this guy.
He has a maturity to his game already. It seems as though he's never too high, never too low. Just sticks with it and tries to mold himself and see, how do I fit into what we're doing as a team, as he grasped his 10th rebound of the game right there. So nearly at a double-double for Cofie.
I think he's going to get there tonight. That's my prediction.
Oh, yeah. I think so, too. As long as he keeps working, looking for it. And another thing that we didn't point out, he had 16 in that first game, sure, but he's only taken 3 shots in this one. He's 2 for 3 from the field, so efficient yet again, even though he's not getting as many touches and shooting the basketball right now. He's finding other ways to be impactful.
Here he is again. That's steal number 4. Look out. Oh, he fumbled it initially. Oh, now he goes with the reverse. Oh, man, that's some special stuff.
And that brings a smile to his face. That gets the crowd on their feet, able to just do something so nifty and crafty in transition. The freshman doing his thing.
You could feel that momentary sigh, like, oh, he lost the ball. Then he got it back, and it's like, oh, this highlight's going to happen. Here it is.
I love that for him. He just plays so hard.
Double-double indeed. And there's the 3. Peter Odoro, just his second 3 on the season.
Not known for a 3-point shooter at all, but recognized that the shot clock was running low and that he was going to have to hoist that one up. But a good-looking stroke for him, even though that's not particularly a part of his game.
Cofie, swarmed by 2. Cofie on the fade. No. And you could just hear the, oh.
The sigh. Oh, he missed the shot.
Well, I said to him before the game, like, oh, you had to miss that one shot? You went 7 for 8 on opening night of your college career? Come on, you couldn't have went perfect?
Right. Come on, freshman.
Cofie walling up Odoro. There's great defense.
Yeah, on defense, what I like is, you know, he has the capabilities to be a shot blocker because he has 3 blocks in this game so far. But the discipline Because a lot of times when you get in that position, you want to go up there and you just want to send that thing. But he's like, no, I'm just going to wall up and see what happens right here, playing solid D.
Murray drawing a crowd and turns it over. Tight little spin there from Nadozie. His lob to the rim. Darius Ward. And Larry Stewart takes a timeout for Coppin State.
That's a key highlight for Coppin State right there. And another thing, the big guy jumping the passing lane. Freshman who, freshman where? Cofie putting his emphasis on the game as UVA continues to be up big against the Eagles.
UVA players currently in the NBA, and a lot of these guys are having great starts to the 24-25 NBA season.
Certainly are. Ryan Dunn, I've got to watch him a few times with Phoenix this year getting the start, and then you see others on this list, Reese Beekman and company, and that's what UVA does. They create pros. A lot of the guys, they stay for 4 to 5 years. They'll redshirt sometimes and just get a lot of reps under their belt. They come here for skill development.
Well, Ryan Dunn, if you remember him at UVA, he only made 12 threes in 2 years, and all of a sudden he's a guy who could shoot the ball with ease, and he was known as the best defensive prospect in the NBA draft.
Yeah, I mean, he's long, he's lengthy, he comes out with confidence, and Ryan Dunn, he's done such a great job for the Hoos as well when he was here.
UVA by 23 late in the second half against Coppin State. First game starts at 6:30. Your popcorn will be popped by what time?
6:31.
Okay.
So I'll be right and ready in front of the TV as we get rolling.
What a birthday gift for you tomorrow, by the way.
I would definitely say 29 with some great basketball on TV. Can't complain.
You just revealed to America how old you're going to be. I thought that's like a cardinal sin.
That's okay. I don't necessarily look my age, so sometimes, you know.
I love the confidence.
You know, well, listen, this is what people tell me.
Okay.
This isn't coming from me.
Okay.
Just what I've been told. So,
okay. So
I don't mind sharing.
Let me ask you this. As Day-Day Ames makes a three. What a great performance he's having. 13 points, his second trifecta tonight. The popcorn then becomes the appetizer, right? Because there's cake at the end of the night, right?
Oh, yeah. I've already had my fair share of cake and cookies and junk. But we're going to add on to it tomorrow. No problem.
We call this cheat week.
Yeah, I'm back in the gym heavy after this. I was cutting up over the weekend with all this eating.
If you want to give me some gym pointers, I will take them next week.
I got you. You're going to be up with me. 6 a.m. yoga.
6 a.m. Yoga?
Hot yoga.
Oh, boy. Anthony Robinson, the redshirt freshman, has checked in for the first time in his collegiate career. Coming in from Peachtree City, Georgia, 6'10".
They were looking to try to find him down low, but spacing was just off as we had a turnover, but Coppin State not able to convert. But Robinson corrals in his first rebound.
His first collegiate stat.
Yep.
Robinson finished his high school days at the Christ School in the Asheville, North Carolina area. Averaged a double-double as a senior. In the corner, St. Murray.
Ooh. Just missed everything. A couple errant possessions by UVA right here, and although they're up big, you still have to stick to what you know, and that's finishing strong.
Cavaliers have under 2.5 minutes to go before they see Villanova on Friday at 5 o'clock in the Hall of Fame series in Baltimore. And then they head down to the Bahamas.
That'll be nice.
Bring your sunscreen.
Sunscreen and A game. I'm gonna need it.
Let's see if the Eagles can manufacture solid offense down the stretch here. Thought they did that time, but Odoro couldn't get the layup to go.
It was. I mean, you don't get a better look than that. They were able to read where UVA, they had a hard hedge. Late on the recovery was Robinson, feeding their big man down low. They have to focus and finish layups.
Robinson going up and scoring.
It's something about the freshmen on this roster where they check in the game, their confidence goes through the roof, and you're looking for an opportunity to get more minutes. It's during these junk time right here where you get to prove yourself. And Robinson, 1-for-1 field goals.
Cameron Brown skating to the rim. 2 shots for Cameron Brown.
And then going back to seeing Robinson's first points right here, the dump-off pass from Power back to the basket. Didn't even have to take a dribble, knowing that he has the size advantage. Kept the ball low, but then accelerated high, and he's a tremendous athlete. And he redshirted last season to build his strength and overall development. And he said during that time, he changed physically. He weighed 224 pounds when he arrived to campus last season, now up to 250.
Here's our Week 12 ACC Network football lineup. It begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern with number 22 Louisville and Stanford. And we'll cap the night with North Carolina hosting Wake Forest at 8. Both games also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Cavaliers have also brought in Bryce Walker into the game, number 8 in white. And Desmond Roberts, the redshirt freshman, also makes his collegiate debut. He comes in from St. Anne's Belfield.
The UVA here seeing a completely different lineup than they've ever had on the floor. And I think Coach late here up big, just looking for execution out of his reserves.
That was not executed well. But Sharma with a block and then tries to poke his hand in there, commits the foul on Jonathan Dunn. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say that's the result of when your offense doesn't run smoothly. A team like Coppin State is able to do what they want to do, which is get the steal and get out and run.
So the Eagles in 114 will fall to 0-4 on the season. Next up, they have UMBC, a short 6-mile trip for them on Thursday. But time for this Cavaliers team. We now have 2 games of game tape. What have you seen overall from this UVA squad?
I'm going to go back to what I said in the open as far as what we've seen from this UVA squad is the strength and numbers aspect. What I really liked today was the guard play by Ames in his start, where he showed a little bit of that, like we said, that Clark mentality, able to call his own number and get to the basket and score. But also when the going got tough, McKneely stepping up and shooting threes as well. So I think they have great balance, and we'll have to see how that continues to unfold within the season. But man, I think they have guys who can score the ball in a number of ways, and it's going to continue to come together.
And on that theme, Coach Sanchez was telling us, I want multiple players in double-figure scoring. He has 4 of them tonight.
And we're seeing that. Now, what I would like to see some improvement on, and it's going to take some time, is the defensive aspect of the floor. There were some breakdowns in that pack line defense where Coppin State was open because 2 people are staying and doubling on the ball a little too long, or just miscommunications, and that's going to happen sometime with the breakdowns. And Ward there just seeing it all the way through. A sloppy closeout by Murray where he just lunges forward, can't control his body. Great focus by Ward to get the 4-point play. And
during your playing days, how many times would your coach tell you in a situation like that, if the player makes the shot, just shake their hand and move on to the next series?
Well, my coach, probably not.
No.
My coach, probably not. She was a stickler. She would have more so asked me, why are you closing out so out of control like that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't close out that aggressively. If the 3 goes in, it's totally fine, and we'll move on to the next possession. All right, shot clock's off here. Coppin State gets maybe one final bucket here. That's Jonathan Dunn, who has been active down the stretch of this game. Ward leading them in scoring with 12, but again, 4 players for the Cavaliers with at least 11. Cofie, Ames, McKneely, and Saunders. And Virginia, for the final 30 minutes of this basketball game, completely dominated. And Ron Sanchez is now 2 for 2 in his era as the head coach for this Cavaliers program. 62-45 the final here inside John Paul Jones Arena.
Oh, great.